Hi guys, I'm Gannon from ITSU. I'm a board director at the company. I look after some of our international and UK growth plans. I also look after finance, technology and property at the company.
So I'm Harry, I'm the People Development Director at ITSU. I basically look after everything that's to do with the human resources, people development, engagement in our teams and the talent search at ITSU. So that's in summary what I do.
Okay. So you've obviously come a long way since the start. So can you just tell us a little bit about like either how you started into the business or how you got this idea of being here?
Sure. Do a lot of hard work, some luck, and making a lot of mistakes and learning from it. And that's really the beauty of people that get to places. They make mistakes and they're comfortable making them, but they learn off the back of it.
So what would your advice be for managing a large team of people as a team?
You always need to really listen to your people, allow them to be themselves, always try to understand their journey, try to get personal with them as well, so to understand what's going on in their personal lives and really reach out to them.
So because you're in this like position, you can like when you're hiring or when you're looking for like younger people in your workplace, like what are some of the kind of things that you look for?
Very simple actually. I look for three things. They have to be hungry, humble, and smart. Hungry in the sense that they want to be hungry to grow themselves and develop others. Hungry to learn, hungry to push themselves, and hungry to push others. Humbleness is a really important skill for me. Humble to know that they've got to work with others to get to a place, and humble enough to know that the sum of the parts is greater than the individual. And smart. And by smart, I don't mean having 3 A's at A level and coming from Oxford and Cambridge. I mean worldly smart. Knowing how to get through life, knowing how to work with people, knowing how to interact with people.
Mm-hmm. Can you just tell us about like the worst job you've ever had? Just like a road you don't want to go down again.
I don't think there's a bad job, if I'm honest. There are no bad jobs. As I said, they're all learning experiences. Every bad job you go through, if you can turn that into a positive, you turn it into a learning experience, there's no such thing as a bad job or a bad experience.
So what's the worst job you've ever held?
The worst job I've ever held, I'm not going to say the place, but it was a restaurant manager's job. It was so hard because first of all I had to be there at 6 o'clock in the morning and you wouldn't go home until 9 o'clock at night. And I think something I've learned from there is that I didn't feel I always had the right support to actually be successful there. So it made my job really, really difficult.
And how is your company changing around this new the new millennial sort of?
It's important that companies of all different sizes and shapes are led with diversity. So be that ethnic diversity, gender diversity, but also age diversity. Companies have to be very careful not to be run by older people. Our customers come in all different shapes and sizes, and we have lots of young people that we need to attract, and the younger generation are our future customers. So it's important that we have people at senior leadership positions, but also working their way up, who really understand young people. And the only way we can do that is to find and attract and nurture.
So you're the manager of people at ITSU. So how does your company look to utilize younger people, for instance, teens or young adults, into the company's ethos?
You guys actually are the future, you know? And I think you see things very differently. And I think for the success for us, who've got that experience already, it's important to listen to you guys, really understand how your way of thinking, because you think differently, and therefore you can bring a lot of different things to businesses. I think sometimes a mistake of the older generation, like from my, is that they think that because they've got the experience, they know everything, and their way is the right way because they've been successful. But I believe that at some point in life, you really have to be careful with that, because you have to sort of hand over and facilitate the next generation. I look for in young people is the attitude, so the way to always have a positive attitude, the will to want to make a difference, and to listen. You have to understand that we don't know everything, and actually we can learn a lot from others.
You spoke a little bit about where you come from, what you're doing. Do you have any sort of an exemplar that you followed, or somebody that really stood out to you that you wanted to kind of follow in their footpath?
People that really inspire me, a group of people that have succeeded by putting others first.
Like, who does inspire you?
I've took my inspiration from a lot of people I've met along the way. I don't have like a particular person that inspires me in particular. For my work, for my career, for my job, I think I get and got the inspiration from the people I met.
So if you could give yourself any advice for when you were 16, so go back in time, what advice would you give yourself at that point in time?
What advice I would give is to worry less and to be patient. Patience is a wonderful virtue, because after 20 years of career, I realized that as long as you have an objective and that you set for it and you commit it will happen.
And just now that you've come, you've made mistakes, you've learned. If you could like go back in time and change some things that your 15, 16-year-old self did, like what would you do to like make a different path to success?
That's a good question. I'll probably tell myself, trust in myself a bit more. There's a big thing about self-belief and self-awareness, and if you don't believe in yourself, how can you expect others to? So I'd go back and tell myself to really trust my instincts and trust my gut a bit more than I did. I'd probably go back and tell myself not to take life too seriously, to live in the present and not worry too much about what's gone on in the past and what you're striving for in the future. I think if you always look to the future, you're always trying to grab something. You never quite get there because you're always trying to grab the next thing. So I'll tell myself to not take life too seriously and to live in the present and enjoy what the world is giving you right now.
So you're talking about the times changing. So what are some of the decisions that you've made in the company recently to adapt to the changing times?
One key thing, for example, is the way we train people. So before we used to train people, of course, on the job. That still happens. Things were done with books. So it's how we introduce like platforms, digital training platforms, for example. So it's a lot more fun and it's more engaging and it's a lot more relevant to the people we have in our business.
So thank you very much for giving this interview.
It's a pleasure. Really nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Take care, man.
Well, thank you for having this interview, enlightening us about some of the things you want to do. So thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Jody.